Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from Zolder for race number 8 in this 10-race championship series in the GT4 machines. Qualifying is wrapping up here, just 3.5 minutes left from this 2.49 mile 10-turn race course. And tonight's race format is going to be, once again, the 2 20-minute sprint race format. So these drivers will qualify here, then the field gets inverted from the qualifying grid, and that's where they'll start race 1. Where they finish race 1, they'll invert again, and that's where they will start race 2. So it makes it very exciting to watch these guys, especially the fast drivers, the fastest drivers in the field, try and climb through the grid in just 20 minutes. And drivers like Clint Fletcher have done it a couple times where they've gone from last to first over the course of a 20-minute sprint race. And it'll be fun to watch who gets the victory here tonight. The points leader, Brian Kennedy, not in the race tonight. I know he had a real-world racing event that he was partaking in, so it's going to be interesting to see who can close the gap in the point standings as we take a look here. Michael Pavolano trying to improve his lap time, just 21 thousandths off of the fastest car tonight, Clint Fletcher. Adam Pohl, who comes into tonight's race second in the standings, currently third in qualifying. Let's take a look at the points as they enter into tonight's race. See where your favorite drivers stack up coming in here tonight. It is Brian Kennedy, top of the points championship. Behind him, Adam Pohl, and then third position is going to be Clint Fletcher. Fourth, Justin Craig. Dean Tulien, fifth. Callan Crocker, sixth. Seventh is Jakub Bielik. Eighth, Mike Nickham. Matthew Gazenda in ninth, and Jesse Brandon round out the top 10. But it's really amongst those top 3 for the championship. And these points do not include the drop week that these drivers receive. So Brian's going to be using that up here with not making the race. And that is going to tighten the gap between himself and Adam Pohl and Clint Fletcher. If you look at the performance from the last handful of races, Clint Fletcher, he's been the car to beat, but he's not been able to make the second sprint race with internet connection problems. See what he can do here tonight in the number 69 machine, currently fastest once again in this one. He's going to have his work cut out for him here early on tonight. Going to have to race his way through the field. It looks like we've got about 14 drivers in the race tonight, so nice to see a couple more joining us as the summer months continue on here. I know a lot of these guys in the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter are out there racing real-world race cars. So nice to see when they do get a chance to show up and race some virtual race cars. We want to thank you for joining us here tonight on VSpeak as well. If you enjoy the broadcast, we work on through it here. Make sure to like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And also check out tonight's race sponsors, SEO Mike and Beltway Brewing Company, in the video description, as well as at the halfway break. The action here tonight as we wrap up qualifying. It looks like Clint Fletcher going to be the fastest one in qualifying tonight. He will start at the back of the field. It's almost a penalty. You do earn a few points for that pole position. So let's take a look at where they're starting in this race. Going off first tonight in this one, it's going to be Carlos Bond. Starting in second position, it'll be Scott Kim, the 711 machine. Perry Duncan rolls off from the third spot. David Curtis, he'll roll off from fourth. Fifth will be Justin Craig. Sixth, Dean Tulien. Mike Nickham starts from seventh. Darren Treacle, he'll roll off from eighth. Jesse Brandon, he'll start from the ninth position. Matthew Gazenda starting in the 10th spot. Callan Crocker, he'll start from 11th here tonight. Adam Pohl starts in 12th spot. Michael Pavolano, he'll start from 13th. And Clint Fletcher, fastest in qualifying and practice, he'll start shotgun on the field here tonight. Excited for some great racing action. Once again, these guys have put on a show for us here the last few races. And the season winding down once again for the BMW Car Club of America. Who do you think's going to win tonight's race? Cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for. We'll try and follow along with them throughout the events tonight. The Carlos Bonds and Scott Kim, the black and green machine, as well as the pink machine, getting us going here for race number 1. The pace truck leads us around, not a pace car here tonight. Interesting choice for the pace vehicle, but kind of a fun one there. Field works behind and ready to get going here. Hope you have enjoyed the season so far. We have had a lot of fun bringing you the action here with this league. Forward to another great event here. A couple guys returning after a few weeks missing. Perry Duncan looks like he is back. See what he can do. He's been quick in some of the races that he has been in. A little bit of blinking going on for Mike Nickum so far. Saw him having issues with that in practice. We'll see if it clears up here as we get going towards the race. I just realized that Carlos Bonds, he's running the Aston Martin, and he's got James Bond there on the side. Nice sense of humor. Two more corners here, and we'll be back to the start-finish line to kick things off. Long pace lap in this one. But lap time is going to be somewhere in the minute and 35-second range. Tonight's track temp, 97 degrees Fahrenheit, 65-degree air temp. So not too hot out, but track surface taking a bit of that sun, soaking it in. Here we go. Pace car onto the pit lane. And onto the front stretch now. About to get going here from Zolder. Going to be Carlos Bonds and Scott Kim leading the way, waiting for that green flag to fly. And there it is. Good jump by Darren Treacle, as well as I think that might be Jesse Brannon farther back in the field as they race down into turn number 1. It is almost 3 wide. Treacle has to back out of it. Carlos Bonds hangs on as they are still 2-3 wide. There's Brannon alongside Mike Nickum, as well as, see who that is, I'm not sure. That is the 84 Dean Tulane. We get passed up there out in front. Bonds with the lead. Perry Duncan holds on to third. Justin Craig in that 4th spot, holding off Darren Treacle. And there goes Mike Nickum. He goes around, bounces it off the retaining wall, gets it pointed back in the right direction with a lot more damage. Just lost control of that race car. Oh, and there goes Justin Craig into the barrier. It's 2 Mercedes with problems here. Let's take a look at what happened to him. Actually look at Mike Nickum first. Not sure if anybody made contact. I think the back end just maybe got light on him here. Look at the replay. That back end comes around. He hits the wall. We go to Justin Craig a little farther up. He's racing with Darren Treacle. Treacle sends it down the inside. No, he doesn't. It looks like, oh, too much over the curb right there. And he'll bounce it off the wall very similarly. Looks like he's still having some issues here. Back to the live camera. But out in front, Carlos Bonds. Got a mirror full of Scott Kim. The complete lap number 1. Already some chaos in this one here. Oh, and off the racetrack goes Carlos Bonds. Through goes Scott Kim. Here they go racing on for third. That's going to be the battle now for second. Perry Duncan, Darren Treacle. putting pressure on the 8 machine, and he's going to look to driver's right, going to try and make that move into the braking zone here, back to the right. Late dive into that corner. He's going to take the spot away, though. Nice job there. And farther back, Clint Fletcher, who's been so good here tonight, up to 11th, but he's got 6 seconds nearly to make up to those race leaders, but not too far behind Michael Pavolano, who also started towards the rear, so it's been tough sledding here. These drivers who started towards the back. Adam Pohl, not too many spots further up. Four positions from where he started, and it is nose to tail here in front of him. Dean Tulane, Jesse Brannon, David Curtis, Carlos Bonds falling now back to the 4th position. He has got a train of race cars here behind him. It appears Mike Nickham never took it to pit road, even with all the nose damage and issues, I think, for Perry Duncan. He's going to lose a lot of momentum here. Might have to actually take a course cutting penalty. Not sure. He's out in the correct lane, and look at that. The 007 just losing 2 spots right there. Might even lose more. For the back, Callan Crocker, Adam Pohl side by side. The 11, and the 1, 2, 3. Racing hard here. That is for the 8th position. Pavolano and Fletcher not far behind. They're waiting for opportunities. It's hard to pass here, though, at Zolder. Cole looks right now, looks back left, not close enough to make any kind of move. Pavolano in the braking zone as well. Side by side up there, Perry Duncan and Carlos Bonds through that tight chicane. Pavolano trying to squeeze in there alongside. The door gets slammed right in his face. Meanwhile, out in front, Scott Kim got the race lead, but here comes a hard-charging Darren Treacle up 6 positions. What can he do as they get down into the braking zone? Further back, David Curtis, Jesse Brannon side by side. Brannon trying to get to the podium. And he's going to get turned off the nose of David Curtis right across the racetrack. The field avoids him. But disaster there for Brannon, who was trying to complete that pass. Let's take a look. Out alongside, thought he was clear. And around he goes, bounces rear end off the barrier across the racetrack in front of traffic. And nearly, into the other wall. Gets it back, rolling all the way back here. 11th position at the front. Scott Kim still hanging on, but he has got Darren Treacle all over him. They have broken away by over 6 seconds to David Curtis. Scott Kim, he's having a heck of a race here in this one in the Porsche. Might be the only Porsche in the field. Is the only Porsche in the field tonight. Change position farther back. Carlos Bonds, Michael Pavolano. Clint Fletcher having problems here in this first race. Currently still 12th. Gonna try and work his way past Jesse Brannon, who got turned around there. But Clint just having trouble. Making passes. Almost gets alongside right there. Not able to do anything with it. Trying to find running room. There is none to be found. Meanwhile, the other pink car out in front. 7-11. Scott Kim. Could he get his first sprint race win here this season? Handling the pressure from Darren Treacle very well. That Porsche looks hooked up here tonight. Don't forget that Treacle's been on the charge, up 6 positions already. Work under the front grandstand stretch there. Battle for the race lead raging on right now. And a big move now. Treacle, he's going to look to the inside. Can he take the lead away? He will take the lead away. The 70 of Darren Treacle works on by. A nice move right there. He'll take the lead. Back to third, though, David Curtis kind of by himself. And a pass made there by Adam Pohl that gets him into the top 5. Got a great run closing in on Perry Duncan. Going to make the move. Looks like alongside into the braking zone, into the chicane. Duncan very conservative there. He's going to lose 2 spots as Alan Crocker works on by. Adam Pohl on the move up 8 positions here. Can he track down David Curtis? The gap 2.3 seconds. He's got over 12 minutes to do it. An 11 car looking good as always. Going to get onto the podium here and continue to chip away into Brian Kennedy's points lead. Well, Darren Treacle, he's already pulled out a second gap over Scott Kim, who's run a very impressive race. He's led 3 laps here in this one. They're starting second. He took the lead pretty much straight away. Has not looked back, but you see David Curtis, he's trying to put in some good laps here as well. An eye on Clint Fletcher. He's kind of lost too much ground to be a competitor for the win, but maybe this is a strategy call to have a better track position, starting position. Sprint race 2. That 69 car not looking quite as good as he did in qualifying and practice. In this first one, Carlos Bonds, who started on the pole, had 1 lap, falling back to 10th. Mike Nickham's actually worked past him after his issue there on the opening lap. Further up the road, Dean Tulane, Michael Pavolano. Harry Duncan continues to lose ground here. He's going to give that spot up to Pavolano. Fall to 7th now, so Perry Duncan having issues keeping up. Trying to be conservative here, not cause any problems for anyone. Treacle, though, he is putting down some fast laps right now. 2.3 seconds and growing the race lead, and we're reaching the halfway point. It's going to be tough to catch him. Feeling that Mercedes AMG machine as we work across the start-finish line to complete lap 6. 136.52 from the 70 machine. Compare that to Scott Kim's 137.9, so about 1.4 seconds slower. Adam Pohl putting in the same lap times. Callan Crocker as well in the 136s. Problem is they're 8.5 seconds and further back. Adam Pohl putting pressure on David Curtis now. He caught him very quickly, about a 1.5 seconds faster last lap. Now on the bumper here for a podium position. He is right there. David Curtis probably watching that rearview mirror, seeing other drivers closing in as well. Callan Crocker, Michael Pavolano, who's made his way through the field quite well. As Mike Nickham with issues, he goes around. Take a look right here at what happened in the 57. Not that damage. Clint Fletcher behind him, and not sure he got touched. Take a look here from, oh, maybe a little tap there, yep, in the braking zone. That sends him around. Unfortunate for Mike Nickham, who's had a rough start to this one, but he will most likely start towards the front in sprint race number 2. It's not all bad. This battle for third position goes on. The 11 of Adam Pohl. Look at the crossover move there on David Curtis. He'll get back to driver's right. And just about make contact there, but does clear. Move him into the podium positions. David Curtis, evasive braking right there, cost him a lot of momentum. Here comes Callan Crocker now. He goes right up behind him, flashing the lights. He's going to get to the left side here. They head towards the chicane. Realized we didn't have the track map on this whole time, so enjoy it here for the second half of the race, and we'll have it up for race number 2. Cars that are selected on camera are going to be highlighted in blue. Everybody else circulating around as white dots. Aaron Treacle out in front here. This one out in front by 5 seconds. He's gotten away from Scott Kim. Scott could be on his way to a podium position, though. He's got to continue to run laps like this, and he's got a shot. 0.8 slower than Adam Pohl. He was about 4.5 seconds back. It would be very close for this second spot near the end of this race if Adam Pohl keeps up that kind of pace. Time another 0.8 chipped away. Callan Crocker running competitive laps as well. He's gotten through to 4th. Michael Pavolano, next one to try and take down the 9 machine. Pavolano up 7 positions. He's got a good run through this corner. Going to get right to the bumper. Make David Curtis check the mirrors there. He's going to look now driver's left. Will he go late into the chicane braking zone? Not quite. Oh, a big run over the curb there. That may be a penalty for David Curtis, who goes over to the right side of the racetrack, and there goes Pavolano on through into the top 5. Clint Fletcher claw a couple more spots out of this race. Dean Tulien and David Curtis, the next one's up the road. Each separate by about 1.3 seconds. Keep an eye on that here for the last 5.5 minutes. Meanwhile, Adam Pohl starting to close up a little bit more on Scott Kim. Scott making his way onto the front stretch here. Let's see what the lap times are once again. 1:37.6. Pohl across the stripe at 1:36.1. That is 1.5 seconds chopped away. The gap now just 2.6 seconds. Scott Kim should be able to hang on for a podium spot here regardless of second or third. Callan Crocker not quite putting in the lap times to keep up with Adam Pohl. He's about a second slower. Battle for position back here. Carlos Bonds, Mike Nickham, both of these drivers with some issues in this race. That is 12th and 13th. All the drivers in the field scoring points tonight. We have less than 15 drivers. Battle for 4th starting to brew as well. Michael Pavolano closing in on Callan Crocker. Then Dean Tulien, he's making inroads here on the 9 of David Curtis. Very well could have quite a few last lap battles for position in this race. Aaron Treacle, he is out here just having a nice Thursday night drive. The 70 machine who started in 8th position. Back onto the front stretch here, about to lead his 6th lap of the race. They'll work onto lap number 11. Driving away now, the gap 8.3 seconds. It's going to take a big mistake for anyone to catch back up. Side by side down the front stretch, though, drag racing into turn number 1. Callan Crocker, Michael Pavolano, still side by side as they head towards turn number 2. Crocker a little bit wide right there. Both the Mercedes AMG machines. Milano a little deeper in the braking zone there. Nose to tail down this short stretch. Hard right through the chicane. Hard left, rather. Right, if you're looking at it that way. Still nose to tail right there. Meanwhile, the battle for second heating up. Here comes Adam Pohl. He is closed up. The back bumper now looks driver's right on Scott Kim. See how hard he fights him here. Pohl going to go on through for the runner-up spot, but he goes wide into the sand a little bit. And Scott Kim, he'll take the spot right back. All this going on over 10 seconds behind Darren Treacle, who's completely out of the picture. Already started the next lap here in the number 70 machine. Big bobble for Scott Kim. And Adam Pohl, he'll take the second position. Now, can he hang on to it? Meanwhile, Callan Crocker, Michael Pavolano, dirt being kicked up back there. Clint Fletcher, he's gotten alongside Dean Tulane. Finally heating up here towards the end of this race. All kinds of positions up for grabs. Clint Fletcher pulling a little crossover, trying to get that power down. We'll try it again right here. Still alongside Tulane, who gives him the open lane. Clint's going to send it down in the corner there. He will clear, move that 69 car up to 7th. After not making a lot of progress very early on, he has made quite a bit here. Towards the latter stages of this race. Pavolano on through. Gets by Callan Crocker, and then it's Clint Fletcher going to now try to track down David Curtis. Jesse Brandon has pulled his way back into the picture. He's been very quick in this race, actually. Almost as fast as the race leader. We are coming back to the white flag. Darren Treacle, 12-second lead. Untouchable here. Second half of this one. Adam Pohl working his way through the final corner. Scott Kim not far behind. Could still... He puts a nice lap in here. He could have a shot at runner-up, and what a race that would be. 3.5 seconds further back, Pavolano's gotten to 4th from 13th in this race. Biggest mover. Other than Adam Pohl, who's gained 10 spots. Clint Fletcher on through to 6th now. He gets by Curtis. Now Jesse Brandon, he's going to set his sights on Dean Tulane and David Curtis. Both attainable positions here on this last lap. Got to time those moves wisely. It looks like a car off the racetrack there might have been Clint Fletcher. Callan Crocker blinking the lights, trying to make Pavolano have an off right there, but nice and smooth for the 4 car. Got Kim trying to pull back up towards the 11 of Adam Pohl. This will be Scott's first podium finish of the season. A great race from him. Led a few laps. Held off Darren Treacle for a couple laps as well. Treacle, though, out of the final corner. No contest in this one. The 70 is going to win here at Zolder in sprint race number 1, meaning he starts from the back of the field in race number 2. The battle for second, Adam Pohl will hang on by just over 1 second. Got Kim. Second and third finishers there, and then Pavolano. He'll hold on over Callan Crocker, 4th and 5th. Clint Fletcher climbs to 6th late in this one. David Curtis, 7th. Tulane, 8th. And Jesse Brandon, he'll finish in the 9th spot. As Matthew Gazenda, he'll come home 10th. Perry Duncan, 11th. Mike Nickup, 12th. Carlos Bonds, 13th. And Justin Craig in 14th. Those guys still wrapping up their races. We will talk to Michael Pavolano for his experience here in race number 1. how he had time he had out there. Oh, hey, Mike. Sorry to interrupt you right there, but Adam the VC Booth, you got me?
Adam, I copy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you. Well, you started 13th in that one, got yourself all the way up to 4th. Took you a little while to make a couple of those passes, and it got a little crazy there for a little bit. But anything you learned that you can carry over into race 2?
Yeah, I think it's just trying to find the right time. I mean, this track is all about track position and passing, as you can see, is really hard. But I think if you could set it up on the exit, there could be an opportunity. So that's what we're probably gonna try is set it up on the exits.
Yeah, we saw a few guys trying crossover moves and really setting up those exits, like you said. And we'll see what you can do here. You got a little bit, well, just about as far to go in this next one. So good luck out there.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the takes about move. Appreciate that. And everybody who's followed and subscribed here over the last handful of days, we do appreciate it. We are going to go now to the halfway break and hear from our race sponsors here tonight. Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents the DMV area. Check out their lineup of unique IPAs, lagers, sours, stouts, and even seltzers. Savory and delicious empanadas by Peruvian Brothers are now available in their tap room. For all things Beltway, go to beltwaybrewco.com and follow at Beltway Brew Co. on social media. SEO Mike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEO Mike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEO Mike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com.
Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn 1. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey.
Back at the racetrack now for sprint race number 2 here from Zolder. If you're just joining us, this is the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League tonight for race number 8 out of 10 Summer Championship. Let's go through the starting lineup here in race number 2. Justin Craig rolls off first, Carlos Bond second, Mike Nickham third, Perry Duncan fourth, Matthew Gazenda fifth, Jesse Brannon sixth, Dean Tulien eighth, ninth David Curtis. Eighth David Curtis, 9th Clint Fletcher, 10th Callan Crocker, 11th Michael Pavolano, 12th Scott Kim, 13th Adam Pohl, and sprint race winner in sprint race number 1 going to be Darren Treacle rolling off from the rear of the field after the invert. It'll be Justin Craig going to get us going here. Green flag in the air from Zolder for sprint race number 2. Already moves being made. Perry Duncan looks down to the inside. Look at Scott Kim go from left to right. And into turn number 1, it is all Justin Craig leading the way. The battle for second, though, Mike Nickham after his issues. And there goes Jesse Brannon around already. Bouncing off the wall, pointed back. And he will get rolling here. That car a little bit worse off than it was. Unfortunate. How about Clint Fletcher, though? Already into the top 5. He'll be one to watch. Mercedes issues in this corner last time around. He goes around the 69 of Clint Fletcher. Matthew Gazenda collected in that one. Let's take a look here. Third place in points. Fastest car all night. Same problem Mike Nickham had in the last race. He goes around and nowhere for the one machine of Matthew Gazenda to go. Collected in it. Get back rolling again, but Clint Fletcher all the way to the back of the pack. Have his work cut out for him once again in this one. Darren Treacle, race winner though, gets by Scott Kim a little bit faster this time, and around goes Gazenda. Into the barrier, the Aston Martin, the one car. That front end smushed quite a bit there. Not what you want to see. Perry Duncan falling back a few positions right now. He falls to 6th, but out in front, Justin Craig got 3 seconds already over Mike Nickham. What a drive so far by Justin, who started out in front. See what he can do here in this one. Carlos Bond's in 3rd, trying to hold back Dean Tulien and Michael Pavolano. Pavolano, who was 4th place, we just talked to him, trying to get alongside the 84. Oh man, that's as close as it gets. David Curtis, Darren Treacle swapping positions here. Treacle already up 7 spots in this race in the first lap and a quarter here. Well, Dean Tulien, he's going to get passed up finally by Pavolano, who goes a little bit wide. Maybe a little crossover move here by the 84. They race down into the corner there, side by side. Pavolano's been a bit brave on the brakes here, but look at Perry Duncan. He goes by both of them, the 2-for-1 special. Here comes Treacle as well. The midfield getting all mixed up through that chicane. They went in there side by side, and it cost both Dean Tulien and Michael Pavolano. Now, the 9 of David Curtis and Dean Tulien. Tulien really lost out on that. I think he went from about 4th to 8th. Farther back here, Scott Kim, Jesse Brannon racing it up for 11th. This is wild stuff here in the midfield. Out in front, though, it is Justin Craig. Got a little gap over Mike Nickham here in that 2nd spot. Much better start to this race for the 57. Taking a look a little farther back, Perry Duncan started 4th. He fell back. I think he was about 7th halfway around last lap, and he's back into 4th here. Nice job taking advantage. But he's got to keep his eyes here on Michael Pavolano. Darren Treacle. Pavolano's got his eyes on Treacle. Two of the fastest cars from race number 1. Listed up here in the top 5. Already 10 seconds off the race lead, though. It's going to be tough for those guys to catch up. You see Justin Craig make the turn in moments ago. board here with Michael Pavolano, who's trying to track down Perry Duncan and Carlos Bonds. Carlos ended up about 11th or 12th in the last race. He's hanging tough up here in the podium positions. They are all over him. Perry Duncan a little bit quicker, I think, but then Pavolano and Treacle, they're definitely quicker. Did a good job holding them all back right now. It's hard to pass here, and you got to take advantage of that element. Onto the front straightaway here to complete lap number 3 for these drivers. About 9 seconds behind the leaders. Maybe a little sneak of the nose right there. Pavolano makes Perry Duncan go a little bit wide, but car hanging on to it. Maybe a little crossover, and that is going to be the mistake that cost Perry Duncan. And can Darren Treacle also find his way through? He will get alongside at the very least. You know, the braking zone here does a great job. He'll clear Hit Machine, but Perry coming back with a nice run. Not able to get alongside. He's going to go all the way down to the inside of the racetrack, though. Does he send it in the corner deep in the braking zone? And he'll go up over the curb there. That may be a penalty. He'll give the spot back to Darren Treacle. Look at all of this right behind, though. Dean Tooling, Adam Pohl, David Curtis, Clint Fletcher. Clint goes in the sand a little bit there. That is going to cost him. Jesse Brannon trying to make his way back through. Jesse's been fast, but he's been bit with some issues in this races. Again, I hope you're enjoying the broadcast tonight. Cheer on your favorite driver. Know you're watching. Follow along with them here for the second half of this second sprint race. Look at the move there. Clint Fletcher trying the crossover. Can't get it done. We'll have a shot down in turn number 1, though. Look at Darren Treacle now going to try and make his way around Michael Pavolano. Can't do it. To get right to his bumper. Right on the bumper. Trying that slow on entry, fast on exit approach that Michael Pavolano was just talking about. And these guys have got to sort things out and try and put down some good lap times. Justin Craig is just driving away. Darren Treacle with that slipstream down this straightaway, though. He's going to get alongside in the braking zone. Not going to be able to complete that pass. Pavolano hangs on to it. Tooling, Perry Duncan, Adam Pohl racing it up here for 6th. Oh, and around goes the 9 of David Curtis. I think he may be stuck in the sand as they wait for Callan Crocker to go around them. Let's go take a look here. Clint Fletcher just gets into the 9 late in the braking zone. Not been a night to remember for Clint Fletcher. Unfortunately, fast car, but not the way he wanted these races to go. Battle for 3rd. Still about 12 seconds behind the race leaders. And then Carlos Bonds under fire from Adam Pohl. Four Mercedes leading the way, then 2 Aston Martins, 3 BMWs, and it's a mixed bag at the back of the field tonight. Scott Kim's had some problems in this one. 14th position after a podium finish in race number 1. This battle for 3rd, though, looking pretty good right now. Pavolano hanging on over Darren Treacle. Rico a little bit faster in certain parts of the racetrack, though, and these guys, if they just keep it clean and stay off of each other here, they could very well get up there and get second. I think they're going to have a hard time getting up to Justin Craig with the remaining race time. But here we go, side by side for second place. Pavolano, driver's right. We go the long way around. Can he hang on to it through the chicane? Drag race here, nose to nose. And a little bit braver on the brakes. Darren Treacle, can he clear? He'll clear, but that'll give a nice slipstream now to Michael Pavolano as they work back towards turn number 1. Peaks left, trying to force Treacle into a mistake. But no mistake made right there. Darren Treacle back into the podium positions after starting drop dead last in this race. See what he can do from here. The gap 12.7 seconds to your race leader. It's only about 8 seconds to second place as these guys all going off in the sand through there. Carlos Bonds has held on very well in this second race. Don't want to jinx him right now, but he's putting down solid lap times. And here comes Adam Pohl, though. Big drive off that corner. Can't get alongside, though. Carlos hanging on. Adam Pohl putting the power down nicely, though, over the curb. He cannot complete the pass on Carlos Bonds. Maybe a little contact right there as they race their way out of the corner. Dean Tulane closing in on that picture. Keeping an eye on the battle for third, though. Pavolano's not going to let that 70 get away. They're pretty close in lap times. With a little slipstream help, you never know what can happen. But Dean Tulane, he was looking for a pass there, but gonna make it happen this lap. He goes a little wide there in turn number 1. Adam Pohl charges down alongside. Nice job through that corner. He's going to clear Carlos Bonds. Hear how much that unsettles the car there to go over that chicane. You guys all doing a good job hanging on to it. This is the top 9 drivers within 18 seconds. So pretty competitive race here. You got to go back another 6 seconds to Callan Crocker all on his own. Clint Fletcher's gotten back to 11th. Curtis Matthew Gazenda and Scott Kim all pretty spaced out. Justin Craig doing his best Darren Treacle performance in this one. He is up 6 seconds over Mike Nickham, who's been second place this whole time, and could start to feel the pressure here the next couple of laps from Darren Treacle. That gap is shrunken now down to 5 seconds. Treacle putting in a 1:35.9. That is a heck of a lap time. Adam Pohl also putting in that same lap time. Michael Pavolano 1:36.2. All of those much faster than your race leader. But they are going to be out of time unless Justin Craig makes a huge mistake. He's going to lead flag to flag in this one. Pohl there in the distance. He's doing his best to try and track down third and fourth. Be a tall task, though. Jesse Brandon takes a position away from Dean Tulane, the triple three. Up to 7th now after starting 6th in this one and getting turned around out of the first corner. Good recovery so far. Many battles to speak of. It would be the cars right behind here. Perry Duncan, Dean Tulane 8th and 9th. Trying to keep up with Jesse Brannon. That last corner is deceiving too. You can hear the cars slide out just a little bit there. Every single manufacturer is having that same problem. We saw Scott Kim get really, really sideways when trying to hold off Adam Pohl. Race number 1 out of that final corner. We've seen a lot of drivers, just the back end slips just a little bit. A little slide right there for Dean Tulane as well as he came up over the curb. And issues for Michael Pavolano. He goes off track. That opens the door now for Adam Pohl to get to 4th position. Got his work cut out for him to get up there and challenge to get on the podium. Darren Treacle's driving away. Fastest car on the racetrack right now. But still 3.6 seconds to gain on Mike Nickum. He may not get there. He is sure going to try. Like he won't be able to get the sweep. Just held up too long in traffic. I mean, he is making huge gains on the race leader, though. He was over a second faster last lap. Looking like he's going to gain even more than that on this lap. Could get the opportunity to talk to him unless he makes a major mistake here the last few laps. Craig starting lap number 11 here. We'll go 13 laps in this one once again. But that time nearly 2 seconds faster for Darren Treacle. If Justin Craig makes any even semi-significant mistakes, he could open up 2nd and 3rd to this battle for the race win. Treacle 1.2 faster than Mike Nickum on the last lap. He'll have 3 more laps to try and catch up to him. That would get him there. And Pohl in the distance. Actually faster than Darren Treacle that time. So doing everything he possibly can to get up there. He's just going to run out of laps. That is what is so interesting about this field invert. You get some of these guys who, maybe finished a little further back in the first race that had speed. I think Darren got a little penalty right there. Lost a bunch of time. The only opportunity he had gone now to get to 2nd, and that opens the door for Adam Pohl, who's now closed up just under 2 seconds. The battle for the final step of the podium. Brandon Dean Tulane still racing up back here, 7th and 8th. Both cars a little bit of nose damage. 2 more laps to battle here. Justin Craig out in front, 5.5 seconds the distance. Treacle 1:38 that time. That's a second slower than your leader. Oh, somebody position back here, I thought. Sure what happened back there, but Justin Craig dominating performance in this one. He's led every lap. Mike Nickum 2nd for every lap in this race. Having some blinking problems there. Darren Treacle charging from 14th to 3rd. Adam Pohl behind him, 13th to 4th. Michael Pavolano 11th to 5th. Carlos Bonds, he's had a solid race here, still fighting solidly in the top 10 after finishing 2nd to last in the previous race. he can hold off the guys here behind him. Dean Tulane, Jesse Brandon, Perry Duncan with a final lap and a half in this one. Across the line here in a few moments, Justin Craig, he's going to start the last lap of the race. White flag being shown. Justin Craig 5 seconds out in front. The gap between second and third now down at 2.4 seconds, but the penalty for the slowdown for Darren Treacle really costing him a shot. Adam Pohl is closing in a few tenths faster than Darren Treacle, but still just too far back to make anything happen at the moment. Really, all of this back here that we've got to watch is going to be the exciting stuff. Guys pushing for every single point they can get. Carlos Bonds in 6th, just trying to hang on to his spot. Got to see all of these guys behind him closing in. Callan Crocker and Perry Duncan off into the dirt there. Callan's going to go alongside into the chicane, and they make contact here on the last lap. Crocker goes on through. Other battles developing, but not much going on right now. Justin Craig out in front, 4.2 seconds. He's given up a little time here, but he had time to give. Jesse Brannon with problems, has lost positions. He falls to 11th. Justin Craig out of the final turn. He's going to take the win in sprint race 2. What a drive by him to dominate race 2. Mike Nickham, he's going to hang on for 2nd place after a really rough race 1. Aaron Treacle 3rd. Adam Pohl 4th. Michael Pavolano, he'll come home in the 5th position. Let's take a look farther back here. Callan Crocker, he's gotten around Dean Tulane. It's going to be a drag race here towards the start-finish line. Perry Duncan and Dean Tulane. That's as close as it gets. Clint Fletcher will round out your top 10. Jesse Brannon back to 11th. David Curtis. Actually, you know what? David Curtis 11th. Jesse Brannon 12th. Matthew Gazenda 13th. Scott Kim in 14th. Your race winner here in sprint race number 2, Justin Craig. Congrats to him. We'll pull him right up into the booth. Get him in here. Is Justin Craig, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got a copy. Hey, Adam.
Hey, man, dominating performance here in race number 2. Really just a nice Thursday night drive for you. Was there anything you learned in race 1 that gave you some extra speed here in the second one?
Yeah, just don't hit the wall. That's probably the biggest thing.
That's usually an important one. But yeah, great job out there tonight. With the race win, you lead every single lap. Next week is Zandvoort. How do you feel about going out there?
Zandvoort's a little unknown as well. Not as unknown as this track. I downloaded it right maybe 30 minutes before practice started, so didn't really have a huge opportunity to do too many laps. But hopefully Callan and we'll get some practice time in and get ready for next week. Want to give a quick shout out to my mom who has watched every race. So hey, Mom, and big thanks to my wife Megan, and then also the boys obviously with Hang Loose. Couldn't do it without Callan pushing me forward every week. So.
Awesome, Justin. Well, big shout out to your mom. Thanks to her for tuning in, and great job out there tonight. Good luck at Zandvoort. We won't be there for the broadcast next week, but we'll see how you can do, and good luck with that one.
Thanks, Sam. Take care.
Thank you. Craig, race winner here in sprint race number 2, as they all piled in there at the end of the race, as they often do here. How about Mike Nickham in 2nd place? Let's pull him into the booth. Mike Nickham, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike. Well, quite a bit better result here in the second race than that first one. Man, you had your hands full in the first couple laps, sprint race 1. But was there anything you learned that you carried over and were able to get this nice runner-up finish?
Yeah, that it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, you know what? We saw some guys have the same issue. Actually, Clint Fletcher, he lost it that same corner that you did in the first race. So I think it was really the Mercedes that had the problems early on, which was interesting to me. But yeah, definitely
Yeah.
good result for you here.
Yeah, I knew the Mercedes prone to first couple of laps, and I let the adrenaline get too much
Yeah, it's
in the first race. So
definitely easy
yeah,
to do that and put the pedal down a little bit too early. But man, you recover nicely here in this second race. You finish second place. We go to Zandvoort next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I've actually never raced there, so it should be interesting.
That's what we heard from Justin out there, race winner here too. He's not raced there before, so it should be a fun one for you guys. We're not going to be able to broadcast that one, but wish you the best of luck there. And anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go tonight?
Just thank all the guys for putting this series on and the sponsors. It's incredibly fun.
Awesome, Mike. Well, great job with second place here in race 2, and have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
You. That is Mike Nickum. Obviously having some internet issues here tonight. Let's go to third place and sprint race winner. Sprint race 1, that is going to be Darren Treacle. Darren, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do, Adam. How are you?
Not too bad, man, and a couple of great performances from you here tonight. You start towards the back, really in both races, and you get a sprint race win and also a third place finish here. The first one looked like smooth sailing once you got the lead, but how about this second race? How hard was it racing through traffic?
It's challenging racing through traffic. Earlier in the season when I jumped in my first couple of races, because I haven't been able to make them all, I was like, oh, I worked hard to get the pole, and then I start from the back. So I was like, oh, well, this is going to be interesting. And it definitely makes it interesting for sure. Everybody's pace is really good. The cars seem to be really evenly matched. So it makes it really challenging to kind of work your way through. And you have to be fairly aggressive early on, or the leader, unless he's in a battle, is just going to take off and run, So it makes it challenging. And I tried to do that. Me and Michael got into a battle, Papalano, which held me up a little bit, but it was fun. And then I made a mistake. I got to slow down, so that put me a little bit further back behind Mike Nickum. If I hadn't gotten to slow down, I think I would have caught Mike Nickum. I don't know that I would have caught Justin, though. But all in all, it was a good race. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely looked fun between you and Mike Pavolano there. And I did see the slowdown penalty. I was like, oh, that's probably a shot at second place. But either way, you got a good solid third place here in this one. We go to Zandvoort next week. Do you think you'll be out there, and how do you feel about going there?
I do think I'll be around to do that one. I guess I actually own the track, so that's good. So I've been there before, so that helps. I'll jump in Wednesday night for our practice runs like I've been doing, and get my laps in then if I can. Tonight, like tonight, I jumped in late. I think I only got like 3 laps of qualifying in.
It obviously still worked out for you. I mean, you had incredible speed, and a lot of the other 2 guys up there on the podium, they're saying they have no experience at Zandvoort. So I think that's going to be the case for a lot of these guys, and should make for some exciting racing next week. But either way, you get a sprint race win tonight, a third place finish as well. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thank you. I'll give a shout out to my insurance agency, Treacle Insurance Agency, Haggerty Motorsports. Of course, the title sponsors, CEO Mike and Sten over at Beltway Brewery. And then, of course, V-Speed for putting on the broadcasts. I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Steve Fakachi, who's not running with us this season. He's taking a little break. And Chris Hill, who's taking a little break as well. And, of course, Scott for putting this up, and all the guys for, getting together to do this each week. We really couldn't do it unless everybody got together to do it, So took the time. And everybody's improving, which makes it a lot more fun, you know, because there's a lot of tight battles. So
Yeah, and I think the field invert has really shaken things up, made it a very interesting set of races. So yeah, definitely fun action out here. Basically every race this season, it's been great battles, and you're putting on a great show for us as well. So thanks for
Thank
the
you.
time here after the race, and
Sure.
we'll get them next week.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Aaron Treacle, third place tonight. The Treacle Insurance Agency, number 70. He also wins one. Congrats to him. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, tonight. Let's go through the rest of the results here and head on out for the evening. Justin Craig, sprint race winner here in race number 2. Second place, Mike Nickham. Third place, Darren Treacle. Fourth, Adam Pohl. Mike Pavolano comes home fifth. Carlos Bonds hangs on for sixth. Great job by him. Alan Crocker, he'll finish in the 7th spot. Perry Duncan finishes 8th. Clint Fletcher comes home in 9th. And David Curtis, he'll end up in 10th position. 11th, Matthew Gazenda. 12th, Dean Tooleen. 13th, Jesse Brannon. Scott Kim, after a great performance in race number 1, where he finished in the 3rd spot, going to come home 14th. Race number 2. I do want to give a big shout out once again to the sponsors of tonight's race, Beltway Brewing Company and SEO Mike. Check them out in the video description. We'll be back with this league in 2 weeks. We have next week off. They're racing at Zandvoort. We'll be back with them when they go to Hungaro Ring for the finale. Should be a fun one there. Forward to it. And hope you tune in for that one. We'll be back on Tuesday with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, Premier Series, actually. That race going to be from the Tricky Triangle Pocono. To be a lot of fun in the next gen NASCARs Tuesday night, 8:25 p.m. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's race here from Zolder, and hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you all next time.